Today we have a Q&A video because I'm a YouTuber that can't come up with video ideas on his own. Thoughts on CLG and their performance at MSI. Okay, I am so happy and proud of CLG. I've been a CLG fan for about 5.5 years, more than half a decade at this point, and I don't think there's been a point in my history of being a fan that I've ever been more proud of them than I am now. To me, CLG have always been the good guys of League of Legends. You guys know how sometimes in sports there's like good guys and bad guys? Like in baseball, the Mets would be the good guys of New York and the Yankees would be the bad guys. The Mets were originally an expansion team that had tons and tons of failure until they had their miracle Mets run in 1969, where the Yankees have always just been good because they're super rich and they just buy all the good players from everyone. CLG have always been like one of the good guys in my eyes. You already have TSM who are very rich and can afford to buy all sorts of players and make all sorts of super teams. You have plenty of teams in Europe that are incredibly good and have been good for a really long time, so good that they don't need to practice for MSI and could just go on vacations instead. But CLG has always been like a really hard-working underdog. They don't seem to talk that much trash. They just sort of try and work really hard to play well and let their play speak for itself. They've had so many instances where they have not been good, where they've almost gotten relegated or whatever, but they kept on trying, and finally they are a world-class team that is performing incredibly well. I'm recording this video the day before the finals. The final starts in like 8 hours or something right now, so I don't know how MSI ends. And it would not surprise me at all if SKT ends up beating CLG 3-0 or 3-1, because SKT are still a very good team, no matter how much faith I have. But regardless of how tonight turns out, I am incredibly proud of how far CLG has come, and I cannot wait to see how far they take their team in the future. When do you think you'll reach Diamond? Okay, I'm gonna try and reach Diamond pretty soon. I might shoot for like by the end of the month, because I am starting to get really tired of all the mean comments you guys keep on leaving in the comment section of every episode of Road to Diamond. I put a lot of my misplays in Road to Diamond to try and be funny, because some of my misplays are funny, like trying to 1v1 Darius at level 1. That's incredibly stupid. The same thing with Pantheon. And a lot of you guys think that I'm a really bad player because of it, but I want to prove to you guys that I am not as bad as you think I am, and I want to do so by getting to Diamond, and I'm kind of okay with getting to Diamond as soon as possible at this point. For a while there, I was kind of thinking maybe we can just stretch out Road to Diamond because I didn't have any ideas for any other series on the channel, but now that we got plenty of other stuff, I'm cool with finishing the Road to Diamond off. How do you manage to feed and still get carried? Okay, see, mean comments like that. Like I said, I put a lot of my funny, stupid deaths in Road to Diamond that makes it look like I'm much more of a feeder than I actually am. Typically, if I actually do non-stop feed in a game, then I end up losing it. But one thing that you guys don't really get to see that often in some of the games that I play is I do a really good job, in my opinion, of drawing attention top lane because people think if they camp my lane, then I'll just feed and be useless. You don't really want to camp top lane that often in League of Legends. If you have a tank on your side and you're giving the kills to the tank, it doesn't really do anything. If you're giving the kills to a Galio or a Malphite maybe or a tank Fizz, then it's not really going to do that much, and shutting down a tank by camping them doesn't really do that much either because all tanks do is they CC and they soak up damage in team fights. So a lot of the time if I play someone like Maokai top lane and I get camped, it doesn't really matter that much if I end up going 0-3 in laning phase because my jungle can take free dragons, can camp bot lane and get kills for our AD carry, camp the mid lane, get kills for a mid laner, and although I end the game with a score of like 5, 6, and 7, I still end up doing a fair amount in team fights and grouping with my team. I think I do a pretty good job of grouping with the team and doing my role in team fights, whatever that might be, depending on the champion I play. You guys will see when I get Diamond. I actually can play pretty well and make sure I always do my job. League of Legends is a team game, and just because I die like an idiot 1v1ing a Pantheon at level 1 does not mean I am trash at the game. All the mean comments are probably coming from bronze players anyway that don't even know what they're talking about. What are your favorite songs and favorite band? Okay, this is an interesting question. You guys who watch my stream know that I like a lot of different kinds of music. My favorite musician of all time would probably be Chet Baker. I never get tired of listening to Chet. He is so fantastic and his music never gets old. I listen to him every single time I go on a plane. I don't know if I could pick a favorite song if I had to, but if I had to pick some of my favorites, I would probably say Tales of Brave Ulysses by Cream, Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan, Freebird by Leonard Skinner, and then probably Where Did Our Love Go by Soft Cell. That's mostly classic rock, but I listen to a ton of music. I mean, I listen to plenty of hip-hop, I love Biggie, I love Dre, I listen to a lot of what I would call dad music, like the Magnetic Fields, the Divine Comedy. I listen to a lot of jazz, too, like Japanese jazz is really great, jam, jabberloop. If you guys ever want to listen to some of my music, you can always just stop on my stream. What are your thoughts on Overwatch and everybody going crazy for it? Okay, I don't really trust Blizzard to not mess up any of their games anymore. Typically, when I play a multiplayer game, I'll play it competitively. I mean, even if it's not League of Legends, if I'm playing FIFA or if I'm playing Rocket League or whatever, I'm always trying to win. I'm trying to play stuff competitively because that's where a lot of my fun comes from when I'm playing multiplayer games, is a competitive drive. When I'm playing games just for fun, I'm typically playing single player games or maybe like custom maps on Age of Mythology or something along those lines where it's specifically not meant to be competitive. I feel like there's a good chance Overwatch is going to just end up being fun. It's going to be fun, it's going to be enjoyable, but it's not going to be hyper competitive and not going to appeal to that side of me, so I'm probably not going to play it that much or enjoy it that much. I don't trust Blizzard to make a competitive game anymore. After what they did to WoW PvP, after what they did to StarCraft 2, I don't trust Blizzard at all anymore. My experience working with them, my experience seeing just what they've done to their games over time, I don't really trust them to not fuck up Overwatch. I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, it looks incredibly fun, and I would love for it to be an incredibly fun game that I can spend my time playing and enjoying, but I don't think I'm going to be playing it for like the next year or committing myself to it the same way I commit myself to League. But then again, who knows? Everyone seems to be enjoying it. What's something you liked about RuneScape that you didn't find in League of Legends? That's an interesting question. Okay, here's something. When I first started playing League of Legends, I was really excited every time I played a new champion. Like, I looked at every champion more surrounding their theme than surrounding their gameplay. When I first bought Swain, I bought him because I wanted to feel like a military commander, or when I bought Anivia, I wanted to feel like an Ice Phoenix. But League of Legends doesn't make me feel enchanted in that way anymore. I own every champion, and every time a new champion comes out, it's not that exciting, although Talia does look incredibly cool. But that's just a byproduct of playing League of Legends for 5.5 years. Eventually, you get disenchanted with the game, but somehow that never happened with me with RuneScape. I've been playing RuneScape for 11 years at this point, off and on, and somehow I can still just sit back and enjoy the scenery. I don't know, there's something about RuneScape that I never got tired of it. What separates a good top laner from an average top laner? This is a somewhat common question, but here's a pretty good answer. Top lane is not as mechanically intensive as lanes like AD carry typically, unless you're playing someone like Riven who has animation canceling and stuff you have to worry about. For the most part, a lot of the stuff surrounding top lane all is surrounding knowledge. When you play Malphite, it doesn't take skill to press R and go in and ult an enemy team and knock up an AD carry so your team focuses them down. What it takes is knowledge for you to know when you should be going in, when you should be grouping with your team, when you should be split pushing, when you should teleport in when you're split pushing. And one piece of knowledge that most good top laners have that most average top laners don't have is minion wave management. Being able to set up a minion wave to push slowly, to push quickly, knowing when a minion wave is pushing in which direction and how you can influence the wave yourself. Setting up freezes, setting up ganks, it's all pretty important stuff that a lot of people overlook or just don't really think that much about. As a fellow Packers fan, do you have any predictions for the upcoming season? Also, how much do the Lions suck? Okay, don't beat up the Lions too much. We kind of broke their hearts with that Hail Mary at the end of the game last season. Oh, that was kind of ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Honestly, I think the Packers could go all the way this season. I believe they could have gone all the way and won the Super Bowl last season. Even though they didn't have Jordy Nelson, it only took overtime against the Cardinals for us to finally lose. And with them getting Jordy Nelson back, we haven't lost too many players in the offseason. We lost Kuhn and BJ Raji and some pretty good players, but nothing vital to the team. As long as everyone stays healthy, I think there's a good chance we could win the Super Bowl. Although, you know who I think is definitely going to win the Super Bowl within the next 5 years that nobody expects? The Jacksonville Jaguars. They have so many good players that nobody's talking about. They dominated in the offseason. They have Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, Blake Bortles. They have the Jets running back now. They have TJ They have so many good players. They have so much potential. They're like the CLG of the NFL. And finally, our last question, do you feel your channel has its future set for now for the kind of content that you want to release? I do, kind of. I never want to be stagnant, but I'm pretty happy with what we're doing right now. I'm happy because I'm glad I can wake up every day and know what kinds of videos I want to make, know what kinds of videos you guys might expect me to make, and I feel like I'm fitting a nice little niche in the League of Legends community, but at the same time, I never want to get to a point where I'm just happy with what I'm doing. If I'm ever complacent, if I'm ever just doing the same thing over and over, then I'm not doing my job as a YouTuber. I need to always be trying something new, and I should always be nervous, I feel like. If I'm not doing new things, if I'm not doing things that make me nervous how you guys are going to react to them, then I don't think I'm doing my job properly as a YouTuber. I always want to be original and new more than anything. But I think we're doing a pretty good job right now with the videos we're making. I hope you guys are enjoying these Q&As, Road to Diamond, Completing League, and another new series that will be coming out in tomorrow's new video. Anyway, though, I will see you all in that video, but until then, thank you very much for watching, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.